Hi there, Loy Machedo, speaking to you from loymachedo.com. Who is Loy Machedo and Think Personal Branding? I get a lot of questions coming to me from Dubai, UAE, about Dubai, from a lot of expatriates and people from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Canada, UK, Europe. So I compiled all the questions that I keep getting. They have sent it to me via loy@loymachedo.com. My email is put down in the description box below, or my WhatsApp, which is also put down below. I'll be answering all the questions that have been sent to me, and you'll see the questions below in the description box along with the timestamp. So if there is any particular question that you're looking at, look in the description box below, check which question. There's a timestamp there, and you can forward the video to whichever question that you're looking for. As I normally say that, if you find these videos adding value, please share it with others. Like the video, always give it a thumbs up. Don't like it, thumbs down. And most importantly, if you have any comments, suggestions or ideas, or even doubts, or you believe what I've said is not correct, you can share your comments down below. So let's move on to the questions. I've written all the questions here. There are around 33 questions. So I'll answer all the 33 questions in this video. Okay, so the first question that I got, obviously I'll not take the names. The first question is, what do I do apart from bashing up Dubai? What do I do? Okay, I'm a personal branding strategist. What does that mean is I help people brand themselves. Brand in the sense, I help people stand out from the rest of the crowd, because the bottom line or the entire objective is for the person to get more money. I mean, you're working to earn more money. So I teach strategies, ways and means of how a person can earn more money. I implemented these in my own life, and I managed to make roughly around $1 million. After I made that kind of money, that is where I left Dubai immediately. So I teach people, because I did it from being penniless. I teach them the strategies of how you can make more money in the Middle East, whether it's as an employee or as a freelance consultant. And I teach people how to set up their base online and offline. And, it's like on an average, at least you can make 10,000 US dollars. Okay, so that is what I do. Apart from that, I also help people in terms of check their resumes, if they're not getting jobs, so that they get called for interviews. I help them shape up their personalities. I tell them what is wrong. I also help them in terms of, let's say, they go for interviews and they're not able to convince the person with regards to why they should be employed. I help them shape up the answers. And last but not the least, obviously, to set up a system whereby they can market and sell their services and make money. Because at the end of the day, remember, it's all about making money. If you're not making money, what is the point that you're actually living in the Middle East? So this is what I do in terms of as a personal branding strategist, how I earn money. Apart from this, I'm also a blogger. I blog, I write articles, I put articles online, people read them on my website, that is loymachedo.com. I'm also a freelance writer. I also have my YouTube channel, that is this one. And yeah, that's about it, man. So that is what I do apart from bashing up Dubai. Okay. And yeah, if you want to know why do I bash up Dubai, it's not that I bash up Dubai, but rather I speak on the realities, the ground realities of what actually goes on in Dubai, because many people in Dubai or in the Middle East cannot speak about the country. If you speak about the country, you can get deported. They have strict rules, especially with the Ministry of Information that regulates social media. So you cannot put anything negative about your employer. You cannot put anything negative about the country. You have to always speak nice things, positive stuff. So what happens is there are a lot of people who are frustrated who want to actually tell the truth. So what I do is I bring these hardcore realities out to the public. I mention them on my YouTube channel, and I openly invite anyone to prove me wrong. So that's what I do. And also state, news articles, rumors, or, anticipatory news that people can expect. So that is what I do. I don't actually bash up Dubai. It's bringing out more of the reality. Okay, next question that I got is, will they deport me if I like or share your video? Okay, now this is a question that I've been getting from quite a number of people. They want to share my video, they want to like my video, but they are afraid. I've been on social media for 11 years, and I can tell you without a doubt, if you like a video, nobody is going to deport you if you like or dislike a video. If you share a video and just tell people neutral, that is, watch this, or what do you think about this video, nobody is going to deport you. However, if you share something that goes against Islam, that is a religion, against the Prophet, against the religious beliefs, against the ruler, that is the ruling family, if you were to share anything, then that can be held accountable. And I mean explicit, not like, for example, let's say something that came on Mail Online where they were speaking of Sheikh Mohammed's son, which they said it was a drug overdose. Now, if you were to share that article, now that is a personal sensitive issue. Now, obviously, there can be repercussions, but if you send it on private WhatsApp group, guys, I found this really terrible, sad news. Now, it depends how you word it. So, you need to use common sense, you need to use intelligence. So, if you were to like and share my videos, I don't think you're going to fall in trouble, because most of the news that I share is already in the news. And I make sure that I do not speak against anything against explicitly against the ruler, the ruling family, or the religion, because obviously it's not allowed. So I can tell you that you're safe if you like or share the video. However, be careful how you word it. Don't put let's say a title like Dubai is fucked, or don't put stuff like, I hate Dubai, or Dubai is a piece of shit. Don't get personal. Don't use profanity. So that is one tip that I would give you. I know this because there are quite a number of people who have liked my video. You need to understand, like, for example, 500,000 people have watched my video. That is the first one that I put about Dubai. 500,000 people watched. You can't start deporting 500,000 people. So if there are 10,000 people who like my video, 10,000 people are not going to get deported. However, just be careful how you word things and how you share things. So I hope this answers your question. Next one is, Loy, did you leave Dubai to go to Thailand to get citizenship? Now, I keep getting this question in different forms. Some people say that I got married to a Thai girl for the passport. Some others say that, did you move to Thailand to get citizenship? Some others are inquiring, how much money do you need to deposit to get a citizenship? Whenever you ask a question, at least do basic research. At least, consult at least a lawyer or a legal team. Don't just come up with all these theories of yours simply, out of the blue. You cannot get Thai citizenship so easily. You cannot get a Thai passport unless and until you've stayed in Thailand for many years. You know the language, you know the culture, you have to memorize the national anthem. And it's a long, drawn-out process. It takes anywhere from, after applying, you might even have to wait from 5 to 7 years to even 10 years. So that is how long it takes to get a Thai citizenship. And apart from that, you also need lots of money. So by marrying a Thai girl, you're not going to get citizenship. And in order to be in Thailand, you need to have money in the bank. You need to show that you're financially stable, that you're adding value, and you need to follow legal channels. So you're not going to just get a citizenship. So please do your research before you start asking questions out of the blue and making claims that, he got married for a Thai passport. The only reason I got married to a Thai girl in Thailand is because, this is her country and she can stay, and having my baby that belongs to a particular country, my kid is never going to get the Indian passport that I have. I'll make sure that she gets a Thai passport because this is her country and this is where she belongs. So I hope this answers your question with regards to why I moved to Thailand. The only reason I moved to Thailand is it's very laid back, it's very relaxed. Nobody interferes in my business. The cost of living is comparatively lower than that of Dubai, at least one-fourth the cost. And I'm living a very good life. And that's the reason. And it's a kind of laid-back culture. Now, it's not meant for everyone. And given the fact that I earn in US dollars and my brand is already set up online, I found it much more easier to move to Thailand. And that's one of the reasons I didn't move to Canada and UK, because there are too many regulations. It's not as easy as it looks. And, given my personality with tattoos and my views online, I felt this is a much better country. So that's why I moved to Thailand. And I hope this answers the question about citizenship. Next one, question number 4. Is Qatar paying me to share information about Dubai and put Dubai down? Now, if Qatar was paying me, I'd be very happy, because Qatar is a very rich country. I think Qatar has a lot of money, and seriously speaking, I'd be very happy if Qatar did pay me money. I mean, who wouldn't say no? Like, let's say, for example, I get paid $100,000 or $1 million US. I would be set for another 10 years in this country. So I would gladly, speak the truth and consider them as a sponsor. One thing which I would do is I would mention that have been sponsored by so-and-so country or so-and-so person. And if they would say, no, you don't say that, I would at least mention that this is a sponsored video. If nothing else, if I cannot mention that I've got money at all, suppose someone pays me money and says, don't mention that I paid you money, I would at least tell the truth, because telling lies is not my style. There's a certain amount of credibility that I get by being online. I don't want to sell that off for a little bit of money, because remember this, if I were to prove to be a sell-off or I compromise on my integrity, there are no second chances. Nobody gives you two chances. Once people come to know that you're a liar, or you can change your verdict based on the money that you get, people stop listening to you, and that is even worse than getting money. So I don't actually look for short-term benefits. I look for long-term. So I hope this answers your question. Anyone from Qatar who's looking, who wants to pay me, please, I'm very open. You just have to go to PayPal, Machedo.com, pay whatever money. That's for support, and I really appreciate. Money is money, I don't mind money. Okay, question number 5. How did I get a visa in Dubai with all my tattoos on the face? Okay, this is a smart question. It's me playing around with the loopholes. If you actually look at my passport has my photograph, which was taken like 6-7 years ago, and I didn't have any tattoos. I was pretty clean. So it has a photograph of me looking like a non-tattooed, normal Indian guy. So whenever I would need to renew my visa, I would just send the PRO wherever possible. The PRO would take my passport. He would take a copy of that passport where I do not have tattoos. In fact, even the application forms for medicals and everything else would have that photograph. So where I'm not required, this photograph was sent, and the PRO used to go. And is to make sure that as far as possible, I don't need to show my face. And they would stamp it. The only time I was required is when the immigration officer or the person who's actually, let's say, approving my passport would request, okay, the guy has to come. And that is where I would go and show my face, but I would normally avoid going face to face. And this is another way as to break the rule, that is, or you could say bypass the rule. I'd make sure that the PRO had a friend who had another local friend who would just give me the stamp without minding my face. So I did get away with it. The only challenge that I faced was the doctors. When they would take my medical, they would make me go through tests again and again and again, because most of them were either Egyptians or Jordanians, or they would try to find out some sickness or some reason why I would not have to get the visa. So fortunately for me, in I think the 10 years that I had the tattoos on my face, I never had a problem with the visa. The sub question to this is, what about traveling? In terms of traveling, most of the immigration officers across the globe, they found it pretty amusing when they saw me. The only time I would have a problem is when I was coming to UAE, whereby, they would, if there was a guy who was very narrow-minded or he was religious, he would take me to the manager or he would report me to the senior officer. But the senior officer wouldn't look at me. He would call the guy inside his office. I would be standing out. They would look at my passport and say, no, he's okay. There's no problem in the system. Let him go. So I did get stopped at Dubai airport a couple of times. But if you're talking internationally, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, then which other country? India, Thailand, London, I never had a problem. So it's only in UAE when I did come, that is, into the country, I had a problem. And the last time when I was leaving the country, that was the only time I had a problem. After that, never. So I hope this answers your question with regards to immigration and visa. Question number 6. How did I get work in Dubai with all these tattoos? How did I get work? See, it all depends on how you market, sell, and position yourself. I used to never go anywhere without a reference or an appointment. I would make sure that I would interact with people in conferences, seminars, and exhibitions. And there was always this curiosity, who's this guy with these tattoos and why is he so different? So that kind of helped me get the attention. And the way I presented myself, the way I spoke, the way I marketed myself made all the difference. And when you go through references, through a contact of a contact, things become much more easier. Apart from this, I also gave talks. I gave business talks. I did training workshops. I conducted seminars, and I invited influential people or key people, and I would give them a lot of value. So this in turn made people get not only fascinated by me, but have this sense of curiosity about me. And that is how they would give me contracts. They would want to try me. They would say, okay, let's see what you can do in terms of training or branding, or how you can expand our business. And that's how I used to get jobs. So it was all about knowing how to sell and market yourself and capitalize on your talent. Remember, it's your ability to speak. How you position yourself, how you market yourself, how you sell yourself, all comes down to your communication. So I was pretty good at that. I was pretty successful, and you could say over the years, I knew how to do it. And that is what I train other people. So that's how I made money. And on an average, I'd make $5,000 to $6,000, that is a month, selling my services for stage shows, events, training programs. And I used to conduct sessions at home where I used to train people or share with them knowledge that I read in books. Most of the people never had time to read books. I would read one book every 2 to 3 days, summarize the book and share the information and make it interesting and engaging. So many people, I had a group of 6 to 12 students who would come every time, working class professionals, and they would pay on an average, 10,000 dirhams and above. That is just to be in my class. Some would pay 6,000 who were the normal regular ones, and that's how I made money. So that's how I made money in Dubai, minding my own business, doing it quietly, and nobody would bother. Next question. Why did I get deported from Dubai? This is by far the most frequently asked question, or the frequently made claim. Oh, he's butthurt that he got deported from Dubai. Oh, look, he's crying, he got deported from Dubai. Oh, all this bullshit. Oh, see, here's the thing. How do you know whether I got deported or not? How do you know? Okay? You're just assuming, you're just guessing. Some of the people, got this answer because I made the video stating in 2011, if you check the YouTube video, Loy Machedo suicide 2011, where I openly stated that I was working for this group, Genius Group Global. They were involved in unethical practices, and I reported them to the CID or the legal authorities. However, their connections were so strong that they, canceled my visa. They made a false claim that I was doing illegal stuff. And remember, this money talks. So I ended up having my visa cancelled, and if your visa is cancelled, you can't stay in the country. So that's where they just bundled me and threw me out of UAE after being there for nearly 30 years. I never had I never had a criminal record. I never had anything illegal that I'd done. So and he couldn't prove it. It's like he couldn't prove it at all. So that is where I left Dubai. But I came back within 2 months, and I managed to come back through a very influential local, and he removed that false claim that was there. So I never actually got deported. And these idiots who keep claiming, oh, he got deported, he's butthurt. It's like, how the fuck do you know about my life? It's like me saying, I know that your mother got fucked by a donkey. How the fuck do I know it? Unless I saw it, right? So if I didn't see it, then how can I make a claim about it? I mean, you're so fucking retarded. I find this stupid. You make claims without knowing. Show evidence, show proof, and use common sense. Check my Facebook. 2011, I left Dubai, and I came back in 2 months. How is it possible that I was in Dubai from 2011 all the way to 2016 if I was deported? And after I left 2016, I came back once again for 2 months to sort out the legal formalities. So please explain to me, how did I get deported? How did I come back? How did I keep visiting Dubai? And how is it that in between I've made business trips? So common sense. Stop farting from your ass without knowing facts. So I hope this answers your question with regards to me getting deported. Okay, question number 8. How did I get a girlfriend in Dubai, being an Islamic country? Okay, you need to understand that UAE has 7 emirates. Each emirate has its own rule. Each emirate has its own personality, its own set of instructions. And Dubai by far is the most lenient among all. Sharjah is supposed to be the most strict, followed by Abu Dhabi. Dubai is supposed to be the most lenient. Actually, it is Ras Al Khaimah that is the most lenient. But keep this in mind that if you keep a low profile, you mind your own business, you don't seek attention and draw attention to yourself doing crazy stuff, you'll be safe. See, I used to draw attention to myself, but I was very cool, calm, collected, and I was very calculated. I made sure that when I would do anything, I would not expose my personal activities online. So I had girlfriends, but I kept a very low profile. Obviously, the question is, Lloyd, where did you meet your girlfriends, or how did you have sex and all that? My girlfriends had their own apartment, and in the apartment, I would always make sure that the watchman was my friend. I would give him tips, and he would never question me. And we would keep a very low profile, make sure that the neighbors never had any problem. And that's about it. And if I really had to meet a girl, let's say, and I didn't have a place, I would book a room through booking.com or agoda.com, and make a booking for a 4-star or 5-star hotel. They just ask for your passport. They don't care if it's what relationship you have or whether you have any relationship. Book a hotel for 2-3 nights, enjoy ourselves, and that was about it. So the bottom line is pretty simple. You just need to maintain a low profile, mind your own business, know which part of the emirate you're in, and don't draw attention to yourself. As long as you mind your own business and do your own thing, nobody would know and nobody would care. And trust me when I say this, in Dubai, almost every apartment, every second person has a girlfriend or boyfriend, or they're living together or sharing, or so, it goes on. You just have to go to nightclubs and you'd see what I mean. And one thing is for a fact that Dubai knows, UAE knows, if it starts checking each and every person, they would end up having to deport at least, I think 60 or 70% of all the expatriates, because the majority, have this boyfriend, girlfriend, or live-in relationship. So it's like you don't start an issue with something that shouldn't become an issue. So I hope this answers your question. Next one is question number 9. Is Dubai finished? I don't know. For some people, they have this major question. Is Dubai finished? Is Dubai over? You know, a country is never finished unless, of course, there is a war, there's some massive destruction, and people are going to die, or until that, a country is never finished. And the reason I say this is because a country has not only rulers, it has leadership. And just as you would ensure that, let's say, for instance, your family, nothing would happen, you take care of your family, you'd make sure that they're always safe. Dubai would also make sure that the country would be always safe. So they would always have a contingency plan, they would always make sure that it keeps running. So if I were to put it in a nutshell, I would say Dubai is never finished, Dubai will go on. Dubai is very smart. It's run by intelligent people. Yes, they are not perfect. Yes, they do make mistakes. But Dubai is going to continue. It has ways and means to borrow loans. It always ensures that it never gets into wars or controversies. It tries to keep peace with all its neighbors. It makes sure that its citizens are kept happy. So Dubai will continue. I think the big question you need to ask yourself is, what about you? Do you have a backup plan? What about your future? Forget the future of Dubai. What's your backup plan? What is your contingency plan? How would you survive? So I think that needs to be focused on much more than Dubai. Personally speaking, I've heard this year after year. People keep talking, Dubai is finished, it is done, there's no more hope. But every year, Dubai continues. And I've seen it from the past 20 years, gloom and doom predictions about Dubai, but nothing has happened. So, pretty hot, I must say. So, with regards to the question, is Dubai finished? No, Dubai is not finished. Dubai will always continue, Dubai will always remain. And I think the main question people need to ask themselves is, would I survive? Would I remain? Let me sit down and go on to the next question. Ooh, it's pretty hot. Okay, question number 10 is, do I advise investing in the UAE? I'll just give you a short answer for this. It's good to invest in a country where you're a citizen, where you have rights, where you have a say, where there are laws protecting you. But if the laws are not protecting you, if you're not a citizen, if there's no guarantee whether you'll remain in the country or not, and there's a chance that you can be kicked out anytime, I think you should never invest in that country. And the problem with Dubai is it is purely speculative in nature. Everything is a speculation. Everything is based on future promises. What will happen after 2 years, 5 years? Oh, we are going to build this. We're going to create that. So that's a whole heap of garbage, and that never works. So I would say invest in the country where you're a citizen. Invest in a country where you have international laws. Invest in a country where they will not throw you out if you commit a crime or if there is a problem. And last but not the least, invest in a country where you have not only checked the past, but you also know that the present and the future is well taken care of. Otherwise, don't get into investing into a country, especially where you do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay? So that's as far as should I invest in UAE. Okay, next one is, what is my prediction for 2019? Okay, 2018 is nearly over, and we have seen a downward trend, especially where Dubai is concerned. Now, the next year, 2019, they're still going to struggle. To give you an analogy, it's like you have taken a bank loan where your earnings are, let's say, 10,000, for example, $10,000, and you have to pay the bank the loan of $9,000, and you are saved with 1,000, and through 1,000 you survive and sustain. So unless and until you figure out a way to earn more than $10,000, you will keep surviving only with 1,000, and it's going to be very hard. So same thing with Dubai. Dubai is constantly trying to come up with new projects, constantly trying to come up with ways and means how to attract investors. But what I feel is they have reached a tipping point where no matter how hard they try, there's always going to be doubts. So I think 2019 is going to be a year of struggle for Dubai. They're going to try and position themselves as, oh, we are doing very well. They will rush to complete the projects, but most of the projects, mind you, will be completed on credit. They will try to negotiate, or they will try to borrow to complete the projects, because Expo 2020 is coming. And they will try to hype up 2020 so that, they can hope that Expo 2020 will be a success. So it's just like taking a massive bank loan to prepare for a marriage, because you want to show everyone that you're very happy, things are very perfect. But after the marriage is where the real problem takes place, because now you've borrowed money to have the marriage, to show everyone that you're happy. Now you need to pay off the loans, and that is where the real struggle and the real story begins. So that's my prediction for 2019. Next question is, what is my prediction for Expo 2020? Okay. Expo 2020, what is Expo 2020? It is an exhibition where you're inviting investors and showing them the potential of the country to invest, to start their business, and to, want to stay in the country, spend their money, and, talk of having a future there. The problem in Dubai is there is no citizenship. The only visa that they provide is 10 years, but the 10 years visa is for certain professions and professionals. Most of the talented people don't want to be in Dubai because it's a no man's land. The day you don't have a visa, you'll be asked to leave. So what happens is, it's just a transition point. You just come to Dubai to go away, to go to Canada, US, Europe, wherever. So now I feel when Expo 2020 begins, there's going to be a lot of hype. There are going to be a lot of international visitors. Hotel rooms would be full. The tourism industry will have a slight peak. They'll have a slight boom. There'll be a bit of events, conferences, seminars, and a bit of happening, a lot of hype in the newspaper. And the UAE government will do its best to retain the investors. But as far as I know, Qatar is going to play its trump card to make sure that the investors who come to Dubai are attracted to Qatar, because it's a very short distance away. I'm sure they'll come up with something. And that is where the not trade war, the economic war, or the mind games will begin. And that is where the investor will choose what is best for him. I would say that after Expo 2020 is only for Expo 2020, things will go a little high. There will be jobs, but I doubt they're going to pay very high salaries. There are going to be investments, talks of investment, but nothing is going to actually finalize, in the sense that even if they sign the dotted line, it's not going to be like you signed the dotted line and you paid the millions today. You signed the dotted line and some work will start. But I doubt, apart from that, anything is going to happen. Like personally, for you as an individual, Expo 2020, you're going to see a lot of hoo la la, but it's not going to increase your bank balance. It's not going to open up new job opportunities for you, and it's not going to make your life any better. You're just going to be part of the action, and you're going to see a lot of hype. That's about it. So the next question is, what is my prediction for 2021? That is post-Expo. Post-Expo is where you're going to see the reality of the decisions that are taken. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I don't think the situation is going to improve. I think the situation is going to go worse, because you have borrowed money to create all these buildings, this infrastructure, these temporary jobs. Now, all of a sudden, you have to shut them down, because who's going to, who are your customers? The passengers have left, the investors have left, so now nobody's there. So now you wouldn't need all the extra staff. And just to let you know, Expo 2020, they're asking for volunteers. They're not going to pay you salaries. They're just going to ask you to volunteer, and they're going to give you a certificate of appreciation or some dummy trophy. So they're trying to cut down costs. So after Expo 2020, the jobs are not going to be there. The businesses that were created, they're going to shut down. the government will have to start paying money to all those people who they, took their materials and borrowed money from. And, then it'll be more of a correction. And that is where I think the struggle will actually begin, and people will see declining sales in hotels, declining tourists, declining investments, and all the hype that they promised after Expo 2020 will actually be seen. And if it doesn't stay at par with what they promised, the market is going to lose faith, investors are going to leave, and that will spell gloom and doom for a lot of people. I personally feel that at least 40% will lose their jobs. That's my prediction. But then again, let's see. Question number 14. Why don't I speak good about Dubai? Why do I only speak bad? Okay. If you want to hear good stuff about Dubai, all you got to do is just check the Dubai tourism website. You'll get only positive stuff about Dubai. If you want to hear good about Dubai, read the newspaper. They'll only speak about world records. They'll speak about achievements. They'll speak about good things. In fact, if you check Khalij Times, they will state that millions of new jobs are being created, salaries are being increased, people are very happy. So if you want to feel good and you want to hear good stuff, go to those channels. My channel is dedicated to speaking on the realities, the struggle of the people who represent the middle class and the businesses. So I speak on the reality, and sometimes the reality may not be all that beautiful, romantic, or nice. It's like someone comes to me and, if they would ask me about marriage, I would never say marriage is happily ever after. I would never say marriage is the happiest moments of your life. I would highlight that, okay, there are good sides to marriage, but the reality of marriage, and that is where I would bring the reality. And remember this, every day is a struggle. It's not all that romantic. Even when people ask me about my career, my earnings, my life, I like to bring the reality of things. And that is why people follow me on my channel. So if you're looking for happy, goody stuff, go to some positive channel, go to some tourism department, go to some government website. You'll get all the good stuff. But if you're on the real stuff, this is where you stay. And people are subscribed to my channel not to hear wishy-washy, happy stuff. They want to hear the real stuff. Okay? Question number 15. Okay. Why do I only talk about Dubai? Why do I only talk about Dubai is because there is a demand for it. My viewers ask for it. I receive emails about it. I receive questions about it. I get WhatsApp messages. I get interactions, and the highest viewed videos are about Dubai, the challenges in Dubai and the problems in Dubai. So that's why I speak about Dubai. So if there was no demand about Dubai, if I would not get any views. Let's say I speak on let's say Persian cooking. If I get 4-5 views, why should I speak about cooking? So I speak on things that I'm good at, which I'm passionate about, where I'm an expert, and yes, where there is a demand. It's common sense logic 101. You do the same if you find a lot more popularity, a lot more demand when you're doing, say, X. So you not do Y and Z. So, simple question. Why do I speak about Dubai? Because there's a demand about Dubai. Question number 16. How do I help people get jobs in Dubai, UAE? My son is 17-year-old. Can you help him get a job? Okay, how do I help people get jobs? I have answered this many times. So I help people get jobs by rebranding their resumes, recreating and repositioning themselves, using the proper adjectives, the proper words to describe the person, to sell the person, and to help the person get a job. Okay, so rebranding is number one in terms of resume. The second one is I train the person in terms of communication, negotiation, marketing and selling themselves. The third one is I prepare them for interviews. So it's a coaching process for them to make sure that they would be completely prepared to get a job. Okay, I do not give a job on a platter. I do not, there's no supermarket for me to give people jobs. I do not guarantee anyone jobs. I do not, I've never said that if you pay me, I'll give you a job. Okay, and keep in mind that the employer is very smart. There is an HR department that has tons of people applying. They have a lot of options. So the the process is making sure that the person's employable. So I help create this aura. I educate the person. I rebrand the resume, rebrand the person, rebrand everything about him, and guide them towards achieving success. So that's how I help people get jobs. Okay, and people pay me for this professional service. I do a lot of free content which I give on YouTube or I give in my blogs. But if you want one-to-one services, well, you got to pay for it. Okay, so that's how I help people get jobs. And the sub question is, my son is 17-year-old. Well, he needs to get in touch with me because he's a youngster. I need to find out what is he good at, which industry does he want to apply, why does he want to apply, and figure out how he can put his foot through the door to get a job. I do not copy paste resumes. I do not, copy paste layouts. I create everything from scratch. And yes, you need to have Bottom. That is the app by Itisalat and Do, where I can communicate with the person, or VPN through Skype. So I speak to the person, create everything from scratch, and that is how I help the person get placement. So I hope this answers your question with regards to getting a job and a 17-year-old getting a job. Okay, next one. How can we survive Expo 2020? Okay, so now Expo 2020 is going to take place. A lot of investors are going to come. A lot of people are going to invest. But post Expo 2020, the prediction which I've given is a lot of people will lose their jobs. So how do you survive? Number one, make sure that there's plenty of savings. Number two is cut down your expenses. Number three is make sure that your resume is ready and floating out there. Number four is make sure that you network with all the people in all the seminars, conferences, events. Make sure that you're in touch with them. Number five is don't be in your comfort zone. Try to apply for a job, get a new job, so that at least you're fresh. Point number six is make sure that you have a plan B. Point number seven is get yourself a mentor, a business coach, or a personal development coach, or a personal branding coach, so that you're much more better. And last, if not the least, make sure that you're out there offline and online, because the more you're out there, the more people know you, the more opportunities you can grab. But like I said, point number one, the most important is money. Make sure that you save plenty of it, and you have enough and more options if in case anything happens. Question number 18. I am Jordanian with a Canadian passport. Can I get a good job in UAE? The way this question has been asked to me is, it's like, I'm proud of my white passport. I'm Canadian. I'm Jordanian, so I know Arabic. So can I get a good job? Now, if there was a company that is looking for someone with a white passport, and if there was a company that is looking for, a guy who speaks Arabic, maybe you'll be employed. If someone is looking for a leadership position with experience, who has a white passport and who speaks Arabic, maybe you'll get a job. But then if a company is not interested in a white passport holder, not interested in just your skills as being an Arab or Arabic speaker, but they're looking for a leader, they're looking for someone who is a business development expert, who's looking at experience. And if you don't state this explicitly and give them enough and more reasons why they should employ you, I doubt you're going to get a job. So don't come to UAE on the merit of having a white passport alone. That's stupidity. It's like me saying, because I have a pair of tits and I have a nice ass, can I get a good husband? So, it's common sense. Don't just assume that just because you have a white passport, you're going to get a job. Okay. Question number 19. My dad is 54 years old. How can he get a well-paying job? Now, if you're talking about someone who's 54 years old, that's 6 years before retirement. So whoever invests in your dad would have to only remember this, that he can issue only 2 visas or 3 visas. That's 2 3-year visas or 3 2-year visas. And after that, he'll have to say goodbye to your father. Number one, personally speaking, anyone who is above 50, forget 50, even 40, it's very difficult to get a job because nobody wants to employ an old person. Second one is someone who's old and experienced always demands a higher salary, which people don't want to give. Third one is people prefer to employ youngsters so that they are flexible, they are ready to take shit, they're ready to work more number of hours, ready to take more risks. And, they can be molded. Someone who's older cannot be. And last but not the least is, there is a less demand for people who are above 50. So if you're looking for a well-paying job, you're not going to get a well-paying job. If you're looking for a job, you can get a job. And the only job that I see is whereby he is asked to create systems, he's asked to manage people, he's asked to, let's say, reduce the burden of the CEO or the decision maker. And it all comes down to how he rebrands himself in the resume, how he sells himself, how he talks about himself, and how he convinces the decision maker that he is not only bringing in more experience, he will generate revenue, he will ensure that the business will expand, he'll cut down costs, he will train others, he'll mentor them, and he'll put systems in place. If you can convince all this, well, the guy who's 50 plus will get a job, because I've helped a couple of people, not many, but a couple of people. Next question. Is it a good time to leave to Canada for jobs? Okay. Whether you want to leave to Canada, US, UK, any country in the world you want to leave, there will always be jobs, there will always be employment, provided the economy is doing well. So it's not that there are not going to be jobs, but keep in mind that when you go to a country, the country first main priority is to ensure that its citizens get a job. Otherwise, the citizens are going to cause havoc. So the first responsibility of a government is to make sure its citizens are taken care of. So number one is, if you're not a citizen of the country, it's going to be hard for you to get a job, especially if you're an immigrant. The second one is, do you have experience in that country? Yes or no? Do you have experience in that field? Yes or no? Are you the best in that field? Do you bring a lot of value to the company, which they can see explicitly without you convincing? And last, if not the least, is your talent or your experience so rare that they feel that they must give you a job and they do not have any options? So if you can answer all these questions, then you can go to any other country to get a job, whether Canada, UK, US, Europe, anywhere. But if you're just going there as an immigrant, as a person who wants to try his luck, it's going to be a very tough time, because I know a lot of immigrants who have gone abroad with tons of experience, but they have ended up just taking meager jobs or basic jobs, flipping burgers or working as an accountant or just in a junior level. So I hope that answers your question with regards to getting a job in Canada, or is it a good time to leave to Canada, US, or UK for a job? Question number 21. If UAE is not doing so well, how come it achieved 1 billion passengers? You're not using your fucking head. Passengers is, you're talking of the airport. People come and go because Dubai is the central hub for transiting passengers. So if someone comes to UAE and from UAE goes to London, or from UAE goes to some other country, India or US or whatever, he's just a passenger that has stepped down to Dubai. So that doesn't help an economy, that doesn't help a country. It's just a transiting passenger. So Dubai has proved itself beneficial for people to land their aircrafts and for people to transit. So that doesn't mean Dubai is doing well. It just means Dubai's airport is busy. Okay? If you want to know if a country is doing well, I think you need to ask yourself, you need to ask yourself, is my salary increased? Have I made a lot of money? Let's say 1 billion passengers come to Dubai. So have I made 1 million dirhams? Or have I made $10,000 extra? So if you have not made that kind of money, then you're fooling yourself. So always focus on you. Always focus on what benefit you're getting. Any news that comes, UAE is the most powerful passport in the world, or UAE, 1 billion passengers have come down to UAE, or Dubai is building the tallest tower or the largest shopping mall. Ask yourself, how does it benefit you? How much money you're making? And how much did it benefit your family? If the answer is nothing, and if the answer is basically, zero, then you're fooling yourself. Okay, next question. You say bad things about Dubai, UAE. Okay, you say bad things about Dubai, UAE, but how come I have a good job paying me 20,000 dirham salary? First and foremost, I doubt you have a 20,000 dirham salary, because if you had a 20,000 dirham salary, you would be wasting your time watching this video. But let's assume that you do have a 20,000 dirham salary. I mean, when did I say that you cannot earn a big salary? There are lots of people who are getting 50,000. I've spoken to a guy who earns $500,000, that is just his basic income, and he makes a lot of money, extra money through bonuses. He saves money because they're paying for his children's education, medical, and so many other benefits. So there are a lot of people earning lots of money. So like I said, it's every country has its ups and downs, like whether it's India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Colombia, South America, Thailand. Every country has its ups and downs. That doesn't mean people don't have good jobs. There are a lot of people who have good jobs, a lot of people who are doing well, and a lot of people who are successful. However, I'm not targeting those people who are successful. I'm targeting those people, the majority, who are middle class and who are struggling to make ends meet. And just as not everyone has a Rolls Royce, not everyone drives a Ferrari, the percentage of people who have such perks and benefits is very small. In the same way, the number of people who are earning big salaries, like maybe you are, is very small, but the majority are not. So even if the country is going through a bad time, a lot of people who are doing good, like myself, even though the online business is crowded, like me, there are many people who are doing well, and there are some others who are doing 10 times more than what I'm doing. However, that doesn't mean that the online business is easy for anyone to make money. It's not that if you start a business online, you'll make millions. It all depends from person to person. So I hope this answers your question. Okay. The next question that I got, can you guarantee me a job? I've answered this question so many times before and I'm still answering it. I do not guarantee anyone anything. If you want a guarantee for a job, however, many people say, can you guarantee me a job? I found a solution. If you want a job that is guaranteed, obviously it cannot be through legal channels. It has to be through, I've got a person who is getting some benefit by, giving you a job or recommending you. So if you want a salary of, let's say, $10,000, okay, what you got to do is give 2 years salary, that is 10,000 into 24, or 10,000 into 12, that is 120,000 US dollars. You give this money, deposit it into a bank. I'll transfer it to that decision maker. So when he knows that he's getting $120,000, he knows that he's getting this benefit, he has no problem giving you a job, because then you can prove yourself to him. So that is a guaranteed job. If you want a benefit that is bypassing all the rules, the formalities, and you want easy peasy, well, shell out some money. If, however, you don't have that kind of money, then go the hard way. So just as, when people want to get admission in a college in India, but their grades are not good, they have to shell out donations. Just as you want guaranteed employment in a government sector, you need to pay the HR guy or the decision maker or the manager. You need to grease him with some money. In the same way, if you want a guaranteed job, give me some money so I can bribe the decision maker, and he'll be more than happy to give you a job. Fair and square, both are kept happy. So if you can't do that, then don't ask me, can you give me a guaranteed job? Okay, I hope this answers your question. Next one, Loy, how can I start a business without any money? The thumb rule is, if you don't have any money, first you make some money. And how do you make money? Is by getting a job, is by getting employed. And for that, you need to work under someone. You need to not only work under someone, you need to gain some experience, and you need to know how to make money. The money doesn't grow on trees. There is no free money. So if you don't have money and you do not know how to generate money, why are you getting into a business where the main goal is to generate money? So first learn to earn your first 1,000 or the first 10,000. After you've done that, buy one thing for $1, sell it for $2, you made $1 profit. That way, you keep buying 10 things, you sell it for double the price, you'll make some money. So that's the best advice I can give you. If you don't have any money, first work under someone and make some money, then think about multiplying money. It's like, you don't have any girlfriend, but you want to have children. How are you going to make children if you do not know even how to entice a girl? So first thing is, learn the basic, the fundamentals automatically you'll get into business and automatically you'll be a businessman. Next question. What is the reason many people with experience are not getting jobs in UAE? Okay, this is my understanding. Now, whenever anyone fails, he will never take personal responsibility for it. He'll never say, it's my fault that I have failed. He will say, market is bad, it was bad luck, I got cheated, she cheated me, he cheated me, she broke my trust, he broke my trust, that guy played a game. So there are 110 excuses for when a person doesn't succeed. But if you ask a person, why did they succeed? They would most probably say that hard work, teamwork, leadership. They would give all these traits which would uplift them. Obviously, some people like to say, God is great, God is great. But then they always like to take the credit. That's why people like to brag about their expensive car. They like to show off their credentials. They like to show the medals, the trophies, the honorable achievements that they have. They brag about it on their CV, on their website, because they like to show that they have done it. So how does this translate? People like to believe that they are successful because of their own merit, but they have failed because of someone else's fault. So when you have someone who doesn't want to believe in luck, which most of the people, for most of the people in the Middle East, it's just being the right guy at the right place at the right time. And that's how they get employed. So they don't want to believe that they were lucky. They like to believe that it is through their own hard work. So when they lose their job, then they wonder, oh shit, now what can I do? And they try, and now they have run out of luck. They have run out of all the reasons why someone should employ them. And that is why they don't get a job. So if you personally ask me, if you had got a job by virtue of your merit, by virtue of your brand or positioning or whatever, it's maybe because the timing was right. It's maybe because you're the right person at the right place at the right time. But now your time is up. Now you have no more the right guy at the right place, having the right everything, right resource, right contacts, and yes, the right luck. So that is why you're unemployed. And if you constantly are unemployed and nobody is giving you a job, it clearly will prove the fact that you are just lucky and now your luck has run out and reality is set in. So that is why many people who have experience, they're just a one-trick pony who was lucky to be in a company and grow within the company because the owner had no other choice. But now, after they have a choice, they have realized this person is not worth it. And that's where reality sets in. Next question is, Lloyd, can I get a job if I'm honest in my resume and in the interviews? See, honesty is the best policy only if we live in a perfect world. But honesty is not the best policy in the world we live in. Like for instance, how many people have you met who are honest enough to say that I'm lazy at work, I waste my time on social media, I love to gossip, I have, not been productive in my company, I was, a troublemaker. How many people you think would admit this? But the fact is, there are so many people who are like that. There are so many people who are gossip mongers. There are so many people who are troublemakers. So many people who claim that they are best in the company, but when you ask them to perform in terms of numbers and sales, they don't achieve anything. So where is the honesty? In fact, how many resumes you think they tell the truth that I waste time, I gossip, I'm not a hard worker? There is no resume in this world that tells you the truth. The resumes that you will get will always show you only the good side, the wonderful side, the positive side. I'm hardworking, I'm focused, I'm determined. I achieved 200% of the company's revenue. I was the best employee of the year, of the decade. Then the question is why they are unemployed. So the truth is, very rarely do people tell the truth. And if you were the only person, if you are the Jesus Christ of our generation who tells the truth, there are other people who would lie, bullshit, make all sorts of claims. And the person who bullshits, because obviously it sounds nice, that is the person who would get the job and you would be left unemployed. So if you ask me, if you're honest in your resume, I doubt there's anybody who's going to give you a job, because there will always be someone who will try to be more flashier than you, who will try to show that he is God's gift to mankind, and you will end up without a job. And at the interview also, people always like to bullshit. I will give my life, I will focus 100%, I'll achieve 200% of the targets and this and that. After they get the job, immediately monotony sets in, routine sets in, and then all that fire, everything vanishes. So I have not met anyone who has been 100% honest in terms of their resume, in terms of their interview, experience or themselves. Everyone likes to believe that they are the greatest since, milk and cookies. So honesty is not the best policy, my dear. You need to be smart. Next one. Loy, I have 15 years experience. Why am I not getting a job in UAE? Okay. Now, you have 15 years experience. And I'm sure the reason you stated that is because that is a matter of pride for you. I have 15 years experience. Now imagine you are marketing yourself and positioning yourself as a guy who has 15 years experience. What would you do if another guy comes and says, I have 17 years experience, I have more experience than this guy? And then you get another guy who says, I have 20 years experience. So that means he has more experience than you. So every second person who says that he has more number of years experience than you is obviously better than you. In the same way, if you say that I have a bachelor's degree in management, one other guy can say I have a master's degree in management. One other guy can say I have 2 masters. Then the next guy who will follow that will say I have a master's from Harvard Business School. So where does it end? So keep this in mind, that whatever you position yourself, you can position yourself as number of years. You'll always get someone who has more number of years. You can position yourself as hardworking. Another guy will say, I'll die in the office. You can say that I'll work 5 days a week. You'll get someone else who will say, I'll work 7 days a week. You say that, sir, I'll work for $10,000. Another guy will say, I'll work for $5,000. You can get 2 people like me. So no matter what you position yourself, there will always be competition. So just make sure that when you position yourself, don't position yourself on something as stupid as number of years or let's say stuff that you can be easily replaced. Rather focus on those areas which really show leadership, that shows revenue generation, that shows outstanding achievements, shows creation of systems, policies, procedures, optimizing costs, mentoring other people. So if you can show all this with evidence, and yes, recommendations and references, I believe you'll be employed any time of the day. But most important is you should know how to sell yourself. Because if you do not know how to sell and market yourself both in the written and spoken word, forget it. Your 15 years is worthless. So next one. Lloyd, when should I leave UAE? Or when is the right time to leave UAE? Okay. I remember I addressed this question some time ago. When is the right time to leave UAE? I believe the right time to leave UAE is when you have reached your ceiling, when you have reached that level whereby you're not able to get a salary or a position, or your earnings have reached that peak, and now your expenses are slowly growing, your savings are declining. I think that is the perfect time you have to leave. In fact, you have to leave before that happens, because once after you reach that level, it's only downhill from there. So before you become redundant, before your expenses start climbing up, before your incomes reach a max level, and before your ability to earn reaches a point of diminishing returns, I think you must leave UAE. Most of the people do not leave UAE because they give all sort of bullshit excuses. My children are studying, I'll wait for 2 more years, or my wife is just settled, or I've just come to the UAE, or just got married. That's a stupid criteria by judging whether you should be in the UAE or not. You're in the UAE to earn money and have a good life. Remember, money talks. And if you're not making the money, I think you should leave the country ASAP. Okay? Next question. Why don't you talk shit about India? Why don't you talk bad about India? you only focus on UAE. Doesn't India apparently have problems? Obviously, India has problems. In fact, India has more problems than UAE. There are so many other countries that have more problems than UAE. But my target audience are expats who are based in Dubai, UAE. They are not based in India. The Indian audience are interested in politics, which I know nothing about. They're interested to know about scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, the job market in India, which I have no idea about. So I focus on what I'm good at. I focus where I have experience on. I focus where I get first-hand information, and I focus where clients are willing to pay me money. Guys in India, for them, 157 US dollars is pretty expensive. But someone from UAE or a foreigner from US or UK, he can afford to pay me $150 very easily. So I speak on topics and areas which my target audience pays me money, and I know I'm an expert in, and where I can offer value. I don't focus on areas where people don't have money, or they're not experts, or there's no benefit. So I hope this answers your question. Why do I speak about UAE and not India? And I agree with you, India has much more problems than UAE. Question number 30, what do you think of the education system in UAE? The education system, if you're talking about schools, it's one of the worst. It's the shittiest because it's not regulated by the government. The KHDA is crap. Teachers are taught how to bypass the system. They just make believe until the invigilator signs and says, okay. Most of the schools have teachers whose salary is 1,200 or 1,800, which is far below, the amount that you can survive. Most of the teachers, majority of the teachers take tuitions and extra classes to make money. I know because I dated a couple of teachers. The schools pay very bad. All the teachers are overworked. So schooling is crap unless you're going to a premier school. In terms of colleges, I made a video where I spoke of this MIT University or something is crap. Skyline, which I went to, was crap. Heriot Watt and these other universities, Middlesex, they talk a lot, but the students are not getting jobs. The only people who are getting jobs, if there's any good university, is SP Jain, which is world renowned, and another university is the American University of Dubai, whereby there is guaranteed placements in some multinational companies. So if you're talking of having a future, then obviously you need to spend big money and go to these big institutes. But personally speaking, I've always told people, migrate overseas so that you go abroad where there is an international standard to education. And yes, you need to pay money to go into private schools so that you have a better future. There's always, there's always high quality education that comes with paying high amounts of money. And there are some of the world's best schools which offer scholarship. I would say do your research. But as far as UAE is concerned, it's just a money-making racket. It's a business. And that is why majority of the graduates in Dubai, in UAE or Sharjah or wherever, they're unemployed because they can only talk big, but they offer zero value. They can only talk, trust me. Okay, the next question. What do I think about locals? Locals, I'm talking of Emirati. I think local Emirati people, they are the real Emiratis, the ones who were many, many years ago. I think that generation was amazing. You're talking of 30, 40 years ago, those Emirati locals, where they were exposed to the realities of life, the difficulties of life, and they had to really work hard to earn their livelihood. They understood what is struggle. They are not influenced by social media. They were not influenced by, the internet. They are not influenced by easy money. Wait, there's a truck. These are some of the challenges of having an outdoor video. So I was saying that the locals who were there in the country many, many years ago, they understood what hardships was all about, and they were really hardworking. And I've had the honor of meeting many of such locals. But today's generation, they are exposed to social media, they're exposed to the internet. They all want to be rich fast. That's why if you see more vlogs and all that, they like to flash, expensive Ferraris, Rolls Royce, their father's money, show nightclubs and all that. That is all bullshit. Most of the locals today want a $10,000 job just passing out of college without any experience. They want the government to support them and give them an easy life. They look at a sense of entitlement. Many of them do not want to work hard beyond 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And even the 8 hours a day, they go to pray 5 times and waste time and this lack of productivity. So I think the locals of today, not all, but the majority of them have a sense of entitlement. But today's locals, you would say, are much more better educated. There are much more opportunities, much more exposure. So the ones who are really serious about their career, they will really succeed. I would say many of them are very talented, very gifted. They're the ones who have really taken advantage of the government support and educated themselves. They've got very good jobs. And like, Sheikh Mohammed, he has given a lot of opportunities for people who can prove themselves. And, his vision has always been to have young leaders run the country. So there are a handful locals, a very small handful, who have amazing and incredible leadership qualities, who are as good as the best in the world. And they are being groomed by the ruler of the country and through their systems. But then the vast majority are not like that. That is why you have, a triangle shape. At the top are the top performers and below are the rest. So personally speaking, I would say it's the upbringing of the country that determines how the citizens would behave. If you make life easier for them, easy money, easy bonus, easy salaries, easy everything, you'll end up with the generation of pampered brats who just want to destroy the country and enjoy without contributing. And that is the major problem that UAE has today. The majority of them just want to waste time and ruin their life. But there are a very small, very, very small minority who really want to contribute to the country, look at the country's well-being and theirs. So it's like both the ways. But like I said, I have a lot of respect for the locals, the real Emiratis, because they're wonderful people. But then not everyone is the same, and I have nothing against them. But at the end of the day, keep in mind, culture, tradition, religion, upbringing, that is what determines the quality of an individual. And that is what will determine the quality of the citizens of the country or the locals. Next one. My biggest regret about leaving UAE. The biggest regret is I didn't focus on making money. I wish I'd focused more on making money, less on wasting time, making friends, keeping relationships, having girlfriends. If I had focused on even my migration and gone to Canada and got a citizenship before 30, I think I would be settled off with a white passport and a citizenship in Canada. So money and citizenship, I think that would be my biggest regret, that I never did. I wish I'd done it. I think life would have been very different. And last, if not the least, the last question. What is the best advice I can give for those people who are already in UAE? The best advice for all of you is make money when the sun shines. You're there in Dubai as a temporary guest. It's a transit place. It's not your country. It's no man's land. So the only advice I would give you is, you're there in Dubai to make money. Forget everything else. Forget the designation, forget the expensive car, forget showing off. Invest in yourself, make shitloads of money, save that money, and plan out your exit strategy to leave Dubai, because if you do not make the move, then somebody else will make the move for you. And if your plan is not executed the way you want, someone else will execute their plan. So my best advice for you is make money fast, make money quickly, save maximum, and get out of UAE when you're at the top. Like I always told, when your earnings are at the max, when your savings are at the max, is where you should continue being in UAE. But when your expenses start growing up and eating into your savings, or when your savings start declining, or when the law of diminishing returns start taking place, that is where you have to leave the country immediately. So this is what I recommend and suggest. So I hope these videos have added value to you. I think I've spoken for nearly 90 minutes. So please, if you like the video, do give it a thumbs up. Don't like the video, thumbs down. Let me know which was your favorite question. Put your comments down below. And as usual, if you put your comments, I'll always respond to it if it's worthwhile. Live from Machedo.com, who's Machedo and Think Personal Branding, signing off for now. Thanks for watching. Take care.